In this video, I'm going to tell you all you need to know to create a new seek list from a Salesforce report. This new functionality from InsideSales.com is available with the Spring 2018 Power Dialer release. I'll first cover the report requirements, and then I'll jump into how you can set up a seek list using a Salesforce report. I'll talk about requirements and limitations to be aware of, and finish the training with what features are not currently included in this version and some frequently asked questions. In this first section, I'm going to focus on building the report and what needs to be included in the filters and the columns, as well as the report folder criteria. The report must contain a couple of things. The first is the record ID that's going to be served up. For example, the lead ID if you want to present a lead record. A special note for opportunity reports, you must include the opportunity ID as well as the contact ID in your report detail. You'll also need to include the user lookup field, which determines who gets what record. If you do not include this field, then you'll have the alternative option to present records to reps on a first-come, first-served basis. I also recommend adding some filters. The seek list is going to automatically filter out certain criteria, but to mimic the report to the seek list results, I recommend adding the filters displayed here. You'll see these again in the video demonstration, and they're also listed on the detailed guide available on our community site. One of the great advantages of the seek list from a report option is that you can control the order of how records are delivered by adding a field to sort from. For example, the last call time or created date. Be aware that different report types have sorting limitations. This too is listed in the detailed guide. Now I'm going to build a simple lead report to demonstrate some of these things. I'll first change this to show all leads that have been created from the beginning of time. And then I'm going to add the lead ID field so that we know which record to present. The lead owner field is already included in the report details, and I'll use that user lookup field to determine who should get which record. And then I'm going to add the last call time field and sort by ascending order, and the seek list is going to respect this sort criteria. Now I'm going to add a very simple filter criteria of lead status equals open. But I'll point out that this is another great advantage of using report-based seek lists is if you have complex filter criteria in your Salesforce report. And then I'll add the recommended filters to mimic what the seek list is going to automatically take out. This is so my sales reps will have visibility into what the seek list will present for them. Now I'll add the cross-object filter looking for any lead without activities where the callback date and time is not equal to blank. This is going to take out any record that has an open callback from my report. And the next thing I'll do is save my work. These reports must be saved in a public folder, but you cannot use the unfiled public reports folder. And you'll need to make sure that the Inside Sales Access user or integration user has access to this folder either by using folder sharing or because the access user has the system permission to view reports in public folders. Now I'm going to talk about creating the seek list and demonstrate adding one dialer rule for my open leads and a second dialer rule for prospecting opportunities. I'll go to the Inside Sales tab, then click Seek List and New Seek List. We'll give it a name and select the report option. The limit calling times feature is not available in this version of report-based seek list, but time between calls works great and you can use that feature now. I'll give access to the users that will be using the seek list, and now I'm going to create a dialer rule for my open leads. You might find that some of the drop-downs are pre-populated, but verify each drop-down is accurate. First, select the public report folder that contains the seek list report. Then select the report, and next the ID field of the object you want to be presented. And finally, select either the user lookup field that directs to whom records should be delivered, or select no limit to deliver records to reps on a first-come, first-served basis. Everything looks good here, so I'm going to click Save and Close. Next, I'm going to demonstrate how I can stack rules by adding another dialer rule for my prospecting opportunities. This is a common scenario to first address open leads and then seamlessly move to your opportunities that you're working. I created this report earlier and saved it in the Sales Acceleration Reports folder. It's called Ops in Prospecting Stage. And on that report, I have both the opportunity ID and the contact ID, but I want to serve up the opportunity record. So I'll select opportunity ID in this third dropdown. And then I want to deliver the records to the opportunity owner. As with previous versions of Seeklists, you can move and reprioritize these dialer rules up and down. Before I finish, I'll check the box to display the name of the dialer rule, and then click Save, and I'm done. I've created a Seeklist that is referencing 2 different reports. Now I want to cover some additional details regarding permissions and limitations, then features that are not currently available, and I'll end with some frequently asked questions. Anyone wishing to create or edit a report-based Seeklist will need the Run Reports Salesforce system permission. You'll also want to verify that your access user or integration user has the Run Report permission so that Seeklists can be refreshed every hour. And as stated before, make sure the access user also has visibility to the public folder where your report is saved. Limits to keep in mind are, first, you can have up to 20 dialer rules per Seeklist. And as for the number of Seeklists per account, unless otherwise contracted, PowerDialer customers are limited to the number of Seeklists based on the number of licenses purchased. All customers will have at least 10 Seeklists. Then for each additional license over 10, will be granted 1 additional Seeklist, and the maximum number of Seeklists is 100. You can have up to 6,000 records returned per dialer rule. And how this is going to work is the Salesforce API can only return 2,000 records per API call, but it's going to make 3 calls per dialer rule. So the system can have a chance to return the top 6,000 results based on the sort criteria. Summary and matrix reports will only allow 1 level of grouping, and there's no change to the dialer cache refresh frequency of 1 time per hour. Features not included in this version are time zone filtering, so being able to filter out records that are too early or too late to call. Dialer rule time blocks cannot be modified. They're active from 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. You'll not be able to set a limit for the number of records you want returned per owner. There's no option to include records without phone numbers. And you cannot mix dialer rule types, meaning your entire list will either be based on a report or using filter criteria. For more information about what features are included on the product roadmap, you can reach out to your customer experience manager. And finally, some frequently asked questions. Number 1, what happens if a record exists in multiple Seeklists? Well, once the record's been served up by one list, it will be removed from all other lists. But if the record isn't dialed and it meets the criteria of the other lists, then it will be added back to the dialer cache the following hour. Number 2, does the list progress report still show records that will be served up that hour? Yes, the list progress report will function as before. Number 3, can I stack multiple reports into one Seeklist? Yes, you can stack up to 20 reports in one Seeklist and prioritize them. Number 4, will I get my callback tasks served up to me when I use these new report-based Seeklists? Yes, callbacks will work as they did before. Unless you expressly prevent callbacks in the Seeklist settings, users will get their scheduled callbacks when they become due. Number 5, can I use a report based on a custom object? Yes. Another great advantage of this feature means you can use custom objects. Just include the record ID of the custom object in your report and specify the ID field in the report object to use dropdown when creating a new dialer rule. Thank you for your time. That's it for the video training. If you'd like a copy of the detailed guide for your quick reference, you can obtain that from our community site or your customer experience manager. I hope it was helpful. Happy selling, everyone.